Once upon a time, on a rainy afternoon, a woman named Sophia stepped into a small, cozy bookstore tucked away on a quiet city street. The air smelled of old paper, a comforting scent that seemed to slow time itself. The rain outside tapped softly against the windows, adding to the peacefulness of the space. Sophia, in her late 20s, was an artist at heart. She didn't need to say it out loud. Her free-spirited nature spoke for itself. She came to the bookstore whenever life felt too loud, seeking solace in the stories that lined the shelves. Today, though, she wasn't just looking for a good read. She was looking for something that would make her feel, something to remind her of love. She wandered through the aisles, picking up a book here and there, reading the backs, tracing the pages. When one book caught her eye, she paused. It was about love, but not the loud, grand kind of love. This was about the quiet kind, the love that exists in the spaces between words, in the small gestures, in the unnoticed moments. Sophia smiled to herself as she read the back cover aloud, almost as if sharing her thoughts with the book. "That's funny," she murmured, not realizing someone was standing just a few feet away. Ethan, a reserved and thoughtful photographer, had been browsing the photography section, but the sound of Sophia's voice caught his attention. He looked up from the shelf, and for a moment, their eyes met. It was a brief glance, but it felt like something more. Ethan wasn't one for bold gestures, and he certainly didn't know how to start a conversation with a stranger, but something about her presence intrigued him. Sophia caught his gaze and, embarrassed, quickly turned her attention back to the book in her hands.
"Oh,
"Sorry, didn't mean to stare," she said with a shy laugh. "I was just thinking." Ethan chuckled, his nerves easing slightly. "Not at all. I find it funny you were talking about unspoken love. It's something I've been thinking about a lot recently." Sophia raised an eyebrow, interested. "Oh, really? How so?" Ethan shifted a bit, gathering his thoughts. "Well, I'm a photographer, and I've always felt like the best photos aren't the ones where people are smiling for the camera. It's the moments when they don't even know they're being seen, the ones where they just exist. That's where real emotion is." Sophia smiled softly. "That's beautiful," she said, her voice quiet. "Maybe that's what love really is too. Not the grand gestures, but the moments when you don't even need to say anything to know it's there." There was a pause, and for the first time, they both seemed to understand something without words. Ethan shifted slightly, feeling that quiet connection forming between them. "I'm Ethan," he said, his voice gentle. "Sophia," she replied, still holding the book in her hands, but now looking at him with a hint of curiosity. The two exchanged a few more words before parting ways that afternoon, but neither of them could shake the feeling that something special had begun in that brief, quiet encounter. They didn't rush it. Neither of them believed in rushing love. But they both felt it, an unspoken bond, something gentle, something real. Weeks passed, and a few more chance encounters led to even more conversations. They met in coffee shops, in parks, and of course at the bookstore. Each time, they talked about their favorite books, their lives, their dreams, always in soft, thoughtful tones, as though they were carefully testing the waters of their connection. And it wasn't long before they found themselves sharing more than just ideas. They were sharing themselves. One afternoon, a few weeks later, they met in the park. The weather had shifted, and a sudden rainstorm caught them by surprise. Sophia, ever the free spirit, laughed as the rain soaked her hair and clothes. She turned to Ethan, her eyes gleaming with mischief. "You've never danced in the rain, have you?" she teased. Ethan blinked, taken aback by her boldness.
what?
"In the rain?
Yes.
It's the best way to let go of everything. Come on, let's dance." Ethan hesitated, unsure of what she was asking, but something in her eyes convinced him. Before he knew it, they were spinning in the downpour, laughter bubbling between them. The world seemed to disappear, leaving just the two of them, soaked but joyful. In that moment, Ethan realized how much he had come to care for Sophia, how easily she had become part of his world. As the rain began to slow, they stopped, standing close together, hearts pounding in the aftermath of their laughter. "I never thought I'd be the type to dance in the rain," Ethan said, breathless. Sophia grinned. Sometimes you have to throw away all the rules, you know? Ethan looked down at her, his voice softening. I think I'm falling for you, Sophia. Her heart skipped a beat, and she looked up at him, feeling the warmth of the moment surround them. I think I've been falling for you too, she whispered, her words barely audible over the pattering of the rain. They stood there, the connection between them now undeniable, and though neither of them spoke it aloud, both knew that something beautiful was beginning. A year later, things had changed in the best way. Their love had grown in quiet ways, built not on grand declarations, but on the small, everyday moments that brought them closer. One evening, they found themselves on a rooftop overlooking the city. The sun was setting, casting golden hues across the sky, and the world below seemed to glow. Ethan turned to Sophia, his voice low but full of emotion. Do you ever think about how we got here? He asked. Sophia smiled, her eyes reflecting the soft light of the sunset. I think about it all the time. We've always had this quiet love, the kind that doesn't need words to make it real. Ethan took her hand, squeezing it gently. I'm glad it's quiet, because when I'm with you, everything feels right, even when we're just being. Sophia's heart swelled, and with a soft smile, she finally whispered, I love you, Ethan. Ethan's eyes softened, and he pulled her close, his voice tender. I love you too, Sophia. And in that quiet moment, as the sun dipped below the horizon, they shared a kiss, knowing that the love they had found, slow, steady, and full of unspoken words, was the truest kind of love. And so, they lived their lives in those small, quiet moments, their love growing stronger with each passing day, built not on the noise of the world, but on the quiet connection they had found in each other.